Hey everyone, and welcome to another installment of Tom's World. Today we are on a brand new adventure. I have never stepped foot here in my life. We are in Bryn Athyn here in Montgomery County, which is Bucks County's next door neighbor, and I figured we'd come down here and check something out. As you might have guessed from the thumbnail and the title, we're going to be checking out the Bryn Athyn Train Wreck of 1921. That location itself is really cool looking, and there are still some reminders of that train wreck on those rocks, and we're going to go check this out. As you may have seen behind me in the intro there, we are here at the Bryn Athyn post office. This used to be the Bryn Athyn train station, and you can almost see it, you know, if you use your imagination. The rail lines used to come through here, of which there are none left. I believe they dug them all up and they just made this just a path. And this is right along Pennypack Creek. And it went all the way down that way. What we're looking for is up this way, but I wanted to check out this bridge right here. It's closed down and it looks pretty old, so we're not going to be able to go all the way onto it. But it almost looks like it may have been a railroad bridge at one time. Let's get a closer look. So it might be a little tough to see in the video there, but apparently this bridge was made in 1883, which is older than the train station that is behind us, the Bryn Athyn train station. That was made in 1902. I didn't really do any research into this bridge because I didn't think to look in the surrounding areas, and maybe I should start doing that because there's something else here which looks really cool and definitely old. And I have no idea what that was. Anyway, we're going to go around the corner here and make our way up the trail to go to, I believe some people call it Death Gulch. There definitely was some death there that happened in that train wreck. And once again, here's the old train station, which is now a post office. It definitely has that old look to it, you know. I mean, I know 1902 wasn't like super ancient history, but this is definitely old and very cool. So already just feet away from the train station, you can already see evidence of the railroad that used to exist through here. And you know, you can almost see it along the road here, how the trees never grew up on this part of it. And there's something up ahead. I don't know what that is. I do know that there are, for lack of a better term, ruins of what used to be the old telegraph line. Yeah, not telephone, telegraph line. I don't think this was one of them, because I think they were wooden, and this looks like it's metal. Somewhere in here we will find them, and I'll point them out when we see them. But this is very neat. I like it in here. This whole area is very cool. Now apparently we can't go off that way. I can see a sign on the tree there. It says private property. But I don't know, maybe this did have something to do with the rail line. I do know that they said that there were these little devices that they would use on the rail lines to let people know, because this was just a single track for the most part. It would let them know when they had to pull off and let another train through, because from what I read and what I saw in different videos, they mentioned that the rail lines that were going to Philadelphia from here had priority over the ones going north from here. I believe it's north. But this could have been one of those things. Like, back, the train station isn't that far away, and maybe there was a line of track here, which is why the rocks are cut out there. That was just like a little, you know, park and wait kind of thing. But that's still definitely old. And then, like, right in front of it, there's this other pole sticking up here with a bunch of old looking wood on there. So I'm guessing that was a sign at some point. I mean, when I think about Pennypack Creek, I don't think about over here. I usually think about down in Philly, but I like it here. Just, it feels like a different area of the state, you know, like more towards the mountains and stuff. Which in my last video, I had mentioned that there was something that looked like a mountain while I was in Tullytown, and found out that that's a landfill, pretty much turned into a mountain. A lot of people let me know that. But here's, this bridge has been here definitely since the railroad came through here. So this is going to be pretty old. Now the wooden fenced in area is probably a bit newer, but the metal part of the bridge and the concrete are definitely old. Here's a better look at the side of that bridge. And even though it's warmer temperatures today, still a lot of ice in the creek. So I think, if I remember right on the videos that I watched, they said it's about a mile trek until we get to the Death Gulch where the train wreck happened. But it was also said that you could still see like where the rocks are stained black from the raging fire that was going on when these two trains collided. But we're going to get into the story more so when we get up there. Up the hill you can see this kind of older styled house there. I think that'd be pretty cool to have that house like right here and all this. I mean, even in the summertime, it's got to be beautiful. So I'm still on the lookout for those poles for the old telegraph lines. I haven't seen any yet. I thought I did. I thought I saw like the base of one, but it turned out to be a tree. And there's a deer right there. You guys see this? I was going to try to get a closer look at the deer because he didn't seem to be frightened of me. And somebody went by on a bike and he ran away, or she ran away. Apparently there's a shooting range somewhere not far from here because I keep hearing periodic shots. So, but that's all right. Doesn't take away from anything. Now these telegraph lines that I'm looking for, there was a telegraph that went out the morning of that train wreck, because when it left out of the one station, the conductor, or the guy that was running the station, tried to get the attention of the train that was pulling out to let him know, yo, you can't go, but there was nothing he could do. So he put out a telegraph for like fire rescue and ambulance and all that, and they were able to get on the scene kind of quick, but really couldn't save the 26 people that passed away in that. Coming up on another bridge now that the railroad went across, and obviously it's been updated. See if we can see off the side, see what it looked like. Oh yeah, you can actually see the old railroad ties in there. I mean, they're pretty thick. That's cool. And as I'm walking across it, it almost sounds hollow under my feet. I wonder what that's for. More houses back here. This would be very cool to live back here, I think. It's like living in the mountains without being in the mountains. And much like most parks, they have these benches here that have little dedication plaques on them for people who have passed on. There is one also at the site that we're going to that pays homage to the people who passed on that day. So what caused the train wreck was definitely negligence on one of the engineers. He did not fully read the orders that were given to him to let him know that an irregular event was happening where there was going to be a second train that he had to look out for. And well, as a result of that, they were coming from two different directions. One train was going 30 miles an hour, one train was going 35 miles an hour, resulting in a combined 65 miles per hour when they collided. And during the collision, both of the front trains, the engines, went and like kind of lifted up in the air, or at least one of them did. You can see where they carved out more of the rocks here. They pretty much had like an explosion of sorts, and there was hot coals being rained everywhere. And back then, the one train was a passenger train, and the cars were made of steel frames and wood. And well, once the hot coals came down, it started a fire on those. This is pretty neat. I don't know what this is. Definitely old. Nothing in the box. There's keys on there that somebody lost. It's just some kind of pipe. And as a result of that fire, passenger cars were no longer allowed to be made of wood. So that forever changed the way the railways operated, especially when transporting people. And I could see more rocks that were carved out. Unless, wait a minute, are we coming up to it already? Maybe. this might be it. But I still haven't seen any of those old telegraph poles. I know there's supposed to be some around. I saw images of some of them leaning up against trees and stuff. I think we might be at it. We'll know better once we get past it, and I can see where that bench is. If there's a sign there, then this is it. But this, I don't know if this looks exactly like it, but I guess most of the videos I saw, people were coming from the other direction too. So I just looked at Google Maps, and I don't think that was it. I think it's a little further up, because you can see this sign right here at this kiosk says something about the Pennypack Preserve, and I'm pretty sure it was past the Pennypack Preserve, which should be on our left, which it is, and that's around this way. We'll find out. And look at what we have here. Here's one of the poles that I was talking about. So this used to carry the telegraph lines that distress message was sent out to the different responders, and they were able to be here quicker than they normally would have. Yeah, there's a bunch of them here. They run right along the side of what was the railroad. So I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen telegraph line poles before in my life, and if I have, I didn't know it. So that's some pretty cool history there. Uh-oh. Are we coming to it now? Yeah, I don't know. This could be another fake out. Because I could see, well, I know that they said that they couldn't see each other because of the bend that was in the rail line. But you can see that's a pretty sharp bend that you wouldn't see somebody until they got right up on there. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Well, no bench, no sign. We were fooled again. The next one I see is pretty far up there, but we're gonna get there. And you can definitely see where this was like, it was raised up just for the railroad. Very pretty though. No clue what this would have been for. It's got like hinges on the back. I mean, obviously a box of some kind for something, but I have no idea. But I remember seeing that in one of the videos that I watched this morning about this place. So that must mean that this is it up here. So yes, this is most definitely the site, finally. You can see why I thought the other spots were it. I mean, it's similar, but this is a bit bigger. But this is definitely the site of the train crash. And here's the plaque on the bench that's dedicated to those from that train wreck. It says, dedicated to the memory of those who lost their lives in the Bryn Athyn Train Wreck of December 5th, 1921. And here are some of the pictures that are on this little sign here. So that would be the view from about where we're standing. Right down here. This was obviously after they started cleaning up some of the debris. And here you can see that it's still there and still smoking at that point. I mean, this was a bad train wreck. And this right here are the orders that were given to the one engineer who he did not look at them. And the reason he did not look at them was every day he got the same orders over and over and over again, so he just figured he had the same ones. But that just goes to show you that you really need to read instructions when they're given to you. And if you really wanted to read this, I'm sure you could probably make the image bigger, zoom in on it or whatever. But you could also find this online, this whole article. Yeah, you could find it in the Temple University libraries. But apparently 2 of the people that perished in this tragedy here were 2 women who were pinned up against the wall by the wreckage as the wreckage was burning, and nobody could get to them. All they could do was listen to the blood-curdling screams as they were being burned alive. And you know, it was said that you could still see some of the charred pieces of the rock, but I saw this on the other rocks too, so I don't know if that's what this is from. But man, just think about the carnage here, you know, like the people that did survive, they were able to put them into a caboose of one of the trains. I don't remember which direction they were coming from, but they were able to get them into the caboose, which had not yet started to catch fire. And the people who could walk, they pushed that car as far out of the way as they could so they could be tended to by the paramedics and whatnot when they got here. But yeah, you could definitely, I mean, it could just be in my mind, but you could definitely feel some kind of like ominous, tragic kind of feeling here. Just crazy to think about that. And because of this, it changed the way that they designed the passenger cars forever. No more wood. So yeah, I really have no idea which direction they pushed that caboose in. I want to say it was on more of the straightaway there. But you could see, I'm standing right now in the middle of where the tracks were, and well, in December it wouldn't be lush or anything. It would look kind of like it does now with the trees, but you still wouldn't be able to see around that bend, especially if you were coming from around that bend. And by the time they saw each other, apparently they were about 40 feet from each other, and there was nothing that could be done. The brakes would not have stopped that. And this is crazy to think that the 2 women were pinned here, being burned alive, screaming for their life, nobody able to do anything. And it's also in the area around here, you can still, when it's not snow on the ground, you could still find pieces of the coal that had burned and started the fire. And because when they collided, it started raining down coal that was on fire, so anything it landed on that it could set the fire, it did. And this is really surreal though, being here. In some of the old pictures you could see where there were officials all over the place, and I think there was a guy standing right up here too, looking down on it. I mean, we're definitely standing right about where there would be the engines of the trains where they collided, right about here. Wow. I'm pretty sure I walked more than a mile to get here. Normally it doesn't take me that long to walk a mile. But yeah, this place, man, I mean, unless you're here, you can't really appreciate the feeling, especially knowing what happened. And they didn't have any kind of running water out here, like piping and stuff like that, except for the creek here. But just wasn't enough. And there it was. Death Gulch, or whatever they call it. Definitely an experience. I'd say if you're able to get to this area, come check it out. And you already know that if you start from the post office, you're going to go through 2 areas that look like you're going to be at it, but it's not it unless you get to that sign. And here's another telegraph pole. Remnants of the past. And now for the long walk back to the post office. It almost looks like an old broken dam there. It's hard to tell. But also in that horrible wreck, they said that a lot of people, most of the passengers, I think, or at least half of them, the 26 that passed on, or rather 24 of them, were trapped inside. And it was said that people there on the scene could see them pounding on the glass, wanting to get out, but nobody could get close enough to do anything, and the fire consumed them all. Such a horrible thing to happen in such a beautiful place. I don't know how well it's coming through on the video, but straight in the center of your screen right now, there's a stone wall, and you can follow it down, and there's like two little stone or concrete pillars there of sorts. They're like rectangle shaped. This may have been where that secondary track was, where they were supposed to pull off and wait, because I think it does go back pretty far, as far as I can tell. That would have suited like a multiple car train, and that might have been where the train was supposed to wait, or this could have been one of many, where there would have been one of those little signals to let the train know when it's okay to go, when it's not okay to go, which that engineer that made the mistake, he just went ahead and did. Now, was it at this location? I don't think so. I think it was at another train station, and when he pulled off, it would be the train station right before this one, and he was supposed to wait there, and when he pulled off, the conductor of the station was trying to chase after him to let him know, hey, yo, it's not okay to go, but to no avail. But this was definitely something where they pulled off. You could see where they sheared the rock in the background. Wow. And if you're savvy enough, you can find images from along here from I think the 1930s, 1920s, 1930s. And this whole rail line was taken over by SEPTA in the 70s. And I think they closed it down in early to mid 80s. And for a long time, the tracks were still here. I think even as of 2002, there were pictures of the rail line still being here before they made it a trail. Finally made it back. Wow. I don't know if it's just from the snow that makes it seem like a long walk, but that definitely was a much longer walk than I normally take. So thank you for coming along on yet another adventure, another new adventure. Hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It's right there, right underneath the video. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out immensely. Also, it would help me out if you hit that subscribe button, then hit that notification bell. That way you'll be sure to be notified when I upload new videos or when I go live, which I tend to do at least once a week, usually Monday or Tuesday. And you can come on and we can chat, talk about new places to visit. Also, don't forget to check out the merch shop. The link for that is in the description. Get yourself some Tom's World gear. And yeah, man, I am out of here. I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.